Hi everyone and welcome to my tutorial on power user tips in Zotero. I'm continuing here from where I left in Zotero Basics video, so if you feel confused about what is going on here, I recommend you to check out the video on Basics before watching this one. In this video I'll show you some tricks that can make your life easier with using Zotero in Microsoft Word. So okay, let's get down to business. So the first tip that I'd like to show you deals with if you have the situation where you have a reference that is not in Latin alphabet, but your publisher wants you to this reference be in the reference list and in the text in Latin, transliterated in Latin. So in this case, all you have to do is you navigate to some transliteration website like this one, where you can find this converter. So this what this site basically does, you can just type in some text in different languages. There is in this space there's there's Russian and some Slavonic languages and so on, and then you type this in Cyrillic script, and then you can turn it to Latin script just by clicking here. And now how we apply this principle to our Zotero reference is that we go to Zotero, we go to the reference that we want to be transliterated in our case this one. So it's in Russian, so we want to have it transliterated in Latin alphabet. So we simply just go through this field one by one and copy paste them here, and then you can just click this and turn it to Latin script, and here you can just turn it back to Cyrillic. And there's also an option to change the transliteration standard, but we can stick for this example with this ISO 9 standard. So let's click to Latin script, and before we go here, we one thing I actually forgot. So the first step is actually to select this item, right click on your mouse, then duplicate this item, and now in this duplicated item you do this, you copy and paste these fields in Latin script here. So now we have the title is in Latin script, and let's go quickly through the other ones as well. So as this. This takes some time, but it's a lot less time consuming than typing by hand these still. So, and you only have to do them once. Okay, good. So now we have all the fields that were before in Cyrillic script. They are now transliterated in the desired format, and we still have the original one here also. Okay, so let's go to Microsoft Word and to our text document and see how it works. So here's the transliterated reference. I want to add it here, so let's just click from here and type this one. So this is the one that we just modified. Let's add it here, and as you can see, it's added here. I have disabled the automatic citation update, so don't worry about it. Let's still see if the original one exists as supposed to, and it seems to be in place as well. So let's add these and click refresh, and now we have the both ones here and also in our desktop app. So this is one way to one hack to ease your life if you have to do some transliteration of your references. Okay, that was tip number 1. And tip number two is to add keyboard shortcuts to your often used Zotero commands. So as you may have noticed when we are referencing here in Zotero, in Word it takes quite many steps to add this Zotero reference. So you have to first click this Zotero tab here, then you have to click add edit citation and then write the name of the citation and so on. So one way to make this process a bit quicker and fluent is to add keyboard shortcuts for these often used Zotero commands. So the way you do it, I show you this in Mac interface because I happen to have it here, but you can just watch how I do it here, and then if you're a Windows user, you can just watch how I do it here and then just apply the same principles in Windows environment. And from this website you can, for instance, find the instructions how to do it in Windows interface. Alright, so let's get going to and add these keyboard shortcuts. So what you need to do, you need to have a Word activated here, and then you go to Tools, select Customize Keyboard. Then under this Categories field, you select usually it's under All Commands. You type here Zotero. You probably will find it yourself from here, but I have it under Macros. So I type here Zotero, and now I can see this insert citation function or command is here. So now I have already added one quick command or shortcut for it, but let's remove for the sake of demonstration. So you can just assign some convenient keyboard shortcut for it. For instance, I have used Command plus E, and then you just click assign. So you can just choose some convenient one that doesn't yet exist on your keyboard shortcuts and assign to it. And you don't have to worry about if the keyboard shortcut is already taken, because Word will inform you and then you can choose some other one. But I'll go with this Command E, but you can use whatever you want. Let's try this now. So let's click OK. And now if I just click on my keyboard, Command E, you can, voila, we have the citation field here, as in the same way as we would have in the traditional click and get way. And of course you can add this also to this. Let's add this one. You can also add some other commands. So for instance, you might want to use or add edit citation button or quick command as well, because it's quite often used. So let's go again here, customize keyboards. I go under macros and Zotero, and I have this edit citation. I have already assigned Command plus R to it, and let's try it out. So now if I'm pressing Command plus R, I get this field and I can modify it. Let's put pages 1 and 23, for instance, here. So, and of course, if you're a Windows user, you probably want to use Control plus E or Control plus R or something like that. So just depending on your user interface. So that's tip number 2. Let's move forward. The tip number 3 is actually quite large. One, it deals with modifying citation styles. So let's look what to do when you are in a situation where you can't find a matching style for your citation style for your writing purposes. So in this case, you basically have 3 options. So the first and my personally recommended option is to find and edit existing styles to meet your requirements. The second option is to use the closest style you find and manually correct the citations when you have done all the other writing. And the third option is to make your own style from scratch. I will not demonstrate actually how to do it here, but I will show you where you can start this journey if you are interested about it. So let's get to our first option, which was finding and editing existing citation styles. So you can go to this CSL citation style language editing side and find for a style that it matches closely to your purposes. So let's say for this, for example, that we have this Elsevier Harvard style, and our publisher is satisfied with our references list. But what this publisher wants is that we have this first names in the full format. So instead of abbreviating them, it will be John Doe, not just J here. So how do we do that? So we could start this editing process by going to this website. Then we can type the name of this style. Okay, I mistyped it, so let's do it again. So it was this one, and here you can just click edit, and it opens up this very nice visual editor tool. So now our publisher, what our publisher wanted was to have this full first names. So what we do here, we can just simply hover over this this field and click here and activate this author name field. Now from here, in this, when we click it, it opens up this these nodes here, and you can modify them then. And if you just click on name, you can hover over this the fields, and it should indicate what this specific command does. And this one is I happen to know that this initialize is exactly the field that we need, so we can just turn it to false, and now it doesn't it shows the long format of the first names instead of abbreviating them. Okay, so now we got this job done that our publisher asked us to do. So here, before going forward, I could also show you one probably quite often needed option. So how to change the language of this reference list. So there's this is now in English. So there's for instance this in and eds and so on. So and access this here. So if you want to change this to your local language or some other language, you can go and this style info and global formatting options. And the last field here is this default locale. You can change this one. Let's try Finnish and change it like this. So now we can see that this access is changed to viitattu in Finnish, and in the this in is changed in teoksessa, and ed is changed to toim, and so on. So this is Zotero supports quite many languages, so you can see if your needed one can be found here. So, but let's stick with English in this for this example. Okay, so now we want to we have this style ready, but we need to apply it here. So how can we do it now? So you just before downloading this new style, you go to style info, and you changed here the title, so you can change it to, let's see, something like all right, let's see, Harvard Zotero example, and then you go to style, save style, click OK, and in this window just select Zotero because we're using Zotero, then click download style. Now it's downloading, and you can go to here in your Word document, click on Zotero tab and document preferences. Here in this citations, under the citation style windows, click manage styles, and in this bookmark site just click here on plus, and now it takes me to my downloads folder by default, and here is the example we just created. So you can just click open, and here you go. And then we go to Word file, and from here now it's added here, and we can just apply it. And let's click refresh, and now we can see that the first names are shown in full format. Okay, cool, we got this job done. So the second option to modify if you cannot find matching style for your references list is to modify them by hand. So what this approach means is that you try to find some style that matches very closely to your style that you need to have, then just use the style although you know that there's something wrong with it, and in the very end when you have finished your text, you just do the modifications by hand manually. So let's say, for sake of example, that your publisher is now satisfied with this style, but this person wants us to have this dots erased behind year, this date field. So how could we manually edit them? So just I would create a new Word document, empty one, and just copy and paste everything from here to here, and now it's identical here, and you just click Zotero, and here pay attention that you do it in this new document. So then you just click this unlink citations and choose OK here, and now it's complaining us or warning us that the field won't be updated anymore if you unlink them, which is good, but we can now ignore it because we are already done with our writing. So let's click OK, and now if you take a look at these fields, they are displayed as normal text, and here they are still with this active Zotero fields. So now you can just manually delete these dots or whatever you need to do in your references list. Now, of course, this is not the maybe the optimal solution, but still a lot better than fully typing hand your references. All right, so that was the option number 2. Let's save this document as Zotero clean, for instance. Doesn't really matter, we can now close it. So the last option that you can have if you cannot just find a matching style is that you just simply create one from scratch, and this is not very recommended because usually there is already some closely matching styles that you can, with editing, you can make them fully proper to your purposes. But if you really want to start this journey or try it out, there's an excellent webinar presentation on covering this topic by Sebastian Karcher, and you can just go to this, watch this YouTube video and see how it could be done in practice. But I will not go further here, so you can if you're interested, you can check it out. And the last tip that I will share with you is the following scenario. So let's say that you receive a Word document from some colleague or some person that you're working with, and you need to, or you just want to have there's a good list of citations in this person's document, and you want to have them for your Zotero library. And this person that sends you the link, this document, he has or she has used Mendeley or Zotero or something that has this references used. So how can you extract them to your own Zotero library? Instead of just manually like going to every reference and adding them from the saving them from the internet or something like that, you can actually just use this reference extractor by Rinsemcell. Sorry if I mispronounced the name, because I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but anyways, this is an excellent tool for extracting references to your library from another document. Okay, so I think this ends my video on power user tips. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you find it interesting and useful. All right, thank you. Bye bye.